So everyone knows that if you want time freedom and location freedom and make all the money that you want freedom, you start an online business. That's just what you do nowadays, right? But there are so many different types of businesses, and there are already so many people that are doing drop shipping or retail arbitrage or Amazon FBA, and you're not too sure which one to start. Well, I got you. Because today I'm going to be talking about 8 untapped, low competition, niche online business ideas that are just for you. Hey there, how's it going? If we haven't met yet, my name is Doug and my wife Haley and I run several online social media based businesses, and we do it while raising our 4 kids. And we homeschool them and we travel with them. We basically hang out. We have time to do all of our hobbies. We've basically capitalized on the life of online business. And so if you want to be able to do that too, be sure to hit subscribe, like this video, and let's jump into it. Okay, so this first idea is a full service business coach for a specific demographic. Now look, I'm a bit of a fatty, okay? And I mean that in the most sincere of ways. I have a boba addiction. I love it. I want to be able to eat like all the different types of Asian foods that are out there. It's one of our favorite things to do as a family is to actually go out and eat. I know a lot of families are like, let's go hike or let's go ski or something like that. But we're like, what kind of food can we try next? I know it may not be the best of habits, but what that has led to me needing to actually find a specific workout routine that I would be able to intertwine with my daily habits. And so what better place to look than Instagram? So Haley's been helping me look for somebody to help out with like figuring out what kind of workout routine I should have on Instagram. Obviously it's been taking forever because I don't want somebody that's too fit or too buff and that looks like somebody that I just would not want to be able to look like, but I also want it to be somebody that will actually motivate me and somebody that I'd resonate with. And so while we've been looking for this magical guy to come through and actually like help me get fit, we've actually stumbled across a lot of content creators or fitness content creators that are serving specific demographics. This one that's here, it's called Her Garden Gym. And basically what Jacqueline here does is she's helping women in their 50s and 60s to get strong. Now, obviously this isn't the profile for me, but it's obvious that she resonates with people and it's an extremely unique take on things. So I thought like, how much further could you actually take this? And it really looks like there isn't a lot of variation out there within the fitness industry, okay? You've got the really buff people, you got the people that look pretty much perfect, and then you've got some people that might be like age specific or for moms, but there's not really anything out there for people with like, you know, disabilities or people with unique circumstances that require them to have to work out in a specific way or something like that. And so my idea would be to get into one of those demos. And while you're at it, try to make it a full service type of fitness coaching. You know, it'd be everything from like coaching to like reviewing technique, daily plans, nutritional plans, everything that you'd probably get in person, but just in an online format. And so a company that would be great to be able to kind of like mesh this with, or to be able to kind of almost just look at their system and see how it works, is My Body Tutor. And what's amazing about My Body Tutor is it starts at $2.99 a month. And so while My Body Tutor might be a great example of like a good structure that's here, it's not really great at connecting with a certain demographic or people with specific pain points. And so that's where I think the opportunity lies. So I give this like a 7.5 out of 10. All right, moving on to our second idea. This is niche course creation. So I went to college, I majored in business marketing, and I spent 4 years over there working my butt off to be able to learn everything that I could, knowing that I would use every single skill that I learned in college in my job after I went and graduated. And I got $40,000 in debt. And the most important thing that I got out of college was my wife, Haley. But in all seriousness, I use maybe 1% of what I've learned in college in my day-to-day life now. The rest of the skills I actually have learned from the internet, okay? I've learned from YouTube videos, I've learned from reading books, I've learned really from hiring mentors or from buying courses or getting coaching programs or joining masterminds. I mean, I spent 4 years learning a ton of stuff that I would never use, and it was 2 years especially of stuff like dance and, you know, geology or astronomy or things like that. But today I can pay a fraction of a college tuition and learn the exact skill that I need to go and 5x or 10x my income. And more people are coming to the realization of that today, and that is that it comes in the form of online courses. Now, the amazing thing is that they can be on practically any topic, okay? You can be talking about gardening, you can be talking about DJing, you can be talking about femininity, you can be talking about masculinity, it could be how to be able to fly drones. There's basically courses on everything. Now, one of our students, she does homesteading, and she's a hardcore homesteader, okay? And she brought up this example of people called the homesteading family, and what the homesteading family does and what they offer is they offer multiple classes on different facets of homesteading. Okay, they're not just like how to homestead overall. They talk about canning and they talk about homemaking bread, how to be able to ferment dairy products, and how to, deal with colds and flus through herbal medicines. There's basically a little bit of something for everybody. So you can guarantee that your strange and unique passion or hobby probably has a fit somewhere within a market of people that are looking to learn about whatever it is that you're an expert on. All it really takes is some like weird knowledge in your head, and then some technical skills that you can learn online, and the ability to reach your target market through social media. And if you're unsure of how all of that works, down in the description below, I have a free training that actually explains it step by step, all the way from like picking your idea to figuring out how to sell it and actually selling it. So I give this idea a 9 out of 10. It gives you ultimate flexibility on like life and where you want to be and how much you want to be able to work. Plus the range of prices is very attractive to people. Some people only want to sell something for like 27 or 37 bucks. Some people want to sell courses in the hundreds or even thousands. So there are a lot of different ways to be able to go about it. The third idea that I have here for you guys is what I'm calling next gen tutoring. Now, if I didn't mention this enough, or if I don't mention it enough in all of my videos, I homeschool my kids with my wife, okay? And one of the things, well, actually the only thing that I'm really responsible for homeschooling is math. Now, when we first started math, I had absolutely no idea if I was doing things right or wrong when it came to teaching my oldest daughter math. And so what we decided to do is, like, we said, hey, why don't we go get a tutor for a little while to basically learn like how do they do it, and basically see where maybe my daughter should be, or how quickly she should be learning, what the process looks like, how many tools do they use versus worksheets and stuff like that. Why don't we go check out a tutor? So I paid a bunch of money for my daughter to go be tutored by a kid in college that's probably like 10 years older than she is. And I got to learn a ton of stuff that was there. But one thing that I realized was that the place was packed. It was absolutely chock full of kids that were there spending a bunch of money being able to learn just math. And so I naturally thought, well, I'll just poach one of these, tutors that are here to come and tutor my kid privately. But at the same time, I thought to myself, well, I wonder like what else people could be tutoring on. And honestly, when I did the research, tutoring is a little bit behind the times when it comes to topics or skills that will actually help people in the workplace, or that will actually help kids turn into adults that can make a ton of money, because that's the entire purpose of going to school, right? I mean, how much longer do we need to actually sit here and learn about algebra and study and prepare for the SATs and ACTs? I personally think that it's time for tutoring to evolve. And so there are some tutoring places like Code Ninja that is, trying to get on board with that. And there might be some robotics places, but some of the skills that we really need out there are things like AI or things like cybersecurity. Those plus coding, plus doing things like, computer programming or robotics, that kind of stuff is moving towards the future. And it's actually a lot of skills that companies nowadays want, but people don't really recognize. I mean, would you rather your kids to be learning things about Greek history, or would you rather them learn something that's more hands-on like computer programming? I mean, LinkedIn's head of global content even wrote an article that had to do with the most sought after skills. And AI was one of those skills that wasn't mentioned just once. It was mentioned throughout the article that AI could be applied to things like research. AI could be applied to things like problem solving. And so AI prompting is even one of those skills that could be taught and that could be tutored on. Long story short, if you know anything that is like a new age or new gen skill like AI or coding, or it could be like analytics, it could be data research or things like that, then you might have a chance to be a tutor in a wide open market. Now, there are lots of ways that people can do this. Okay, you could sell this in like a course library format if you wanted to. Some people sell access to stuff like that for like $29 a month, or you could go more a traditional tutor route. If you are more of a beginner, you could sign up on something like Wyzant or care.com or something like that, someplace that does tutoring, obviously, but then you can also just charge somebody by the hour to teach them whatever kind of new age skill this is. Now, tutoring, yeah, sometimes it looks like it's like $15 to $20 an hour, but as you get into the more niche stuff, you can find people that are tutoring for $75 to $100 to $150 an hour. So I give this opportunity a score of 7 out of 10. It has extreme opportunity, like open blue ocean type of opportunity that's here. But the problem is that parents need to be able to get on board with the idea that their kids need to learn more about stuff that's going to be used in the workplace than they do like Greek history or something like that. All right, moving on to my next idea. This is a content creator's assistant. As a wannabe content creator myself, there's nothing I love more than just doing absolutely everything that's required of me within a business. But in all seriousness, there is this idea of the thing called the one person business. And if you don't know what that is, I'll have a link to that video down in the description below and you can go check that out. But it is a very popular and upcoming business model. But these content creator one person businesses, basically they have to do everything themselves. They have to do things like social media, creating products, creating websites, taking marketing photos, figuring out funnels, sending out emails, doing customer service, pitching themselves to companies. They have to train other members on their team if they do have team members, and there's just so many other things that they have to do besides just being a content creator. Now, the thing is that we don't actually want to have to do everything, okay? We only want to do the one or two things that calls us into our zone of genius. And we don't want to have to do the things that don't actually produce results. We want to focus on just the one or two tasks that produce 80 to 90% of our revenue. So what we do is we hire a few people here and there to take care of like a bunch of random tasks or a bunch of other random things for us. And those people end up rotating in and out, and they end up dropping off, or they stop talking to us. And it just honestly, working with a lot of different contractors kind of sucks, and it's really hard to find really good ones. And when you do find the rare one that works really well and that is willing to stick with you, you better hold on to them. But the thing is that I can guarantee you that most content creators want to find just one amazing person that can do it all. It's kind of like a virtual assistant, but almost a level beyond that. It's like a step below the content creator. It's like a person who would like to be a content creator and likes all the tasks and steps that it takes to be a content creator, but doesn't actually want to put their face on the internet. So what I would say you should do is you should learn all about these other things: email marketing, funnels, websites, creating social media posts. So that means like stuff like graphic design. You should learn all of those just enough to say, hey, content creator, I know you don't want to do all this other random stuff. Why don't you pay me to take care of it? I'll be like your second brain, your second hand person that's here, and you just focus on the stuff that you're really good at. And so I would really classify that, like I said, as a content creator's assistant and not just technically like a virtual assistant. Virtual assistants, yeah, they make like $5, $10, or $15 an hour or something like that. But if you're a content creator's assistant and you have those more higher income level skills, you could definitely charge more, between like the $35, $40, or even $50 an hour mark. And once you start to bring on more creators into your clientele, then you can actually start even looking into like an agency route, but we're not going to get too crazy with that. So I give this idea like a 7.5 out of 10. You got to learn a lot of different skills, but the potential for income is really there. My next idea for you is niche digital products. Now, everybody's heard about things like courses and ebooks and Notion templates and Excel templates, email signature templates, stuff like that. Templates. But there are still more unique, untapped digital products out there. Maybe I'll do an entire other video on more digital products that are like this, but I do want to focus on specifically one that I had an idea for to just kind of like drive the point home. Now, if you're a hobbyist, niche digital products is an absolute goldmine for you. For instance, I have this neighbor and he has his 3D printer just constantly putting something out there. Like every time I walk by or every time I say what's up, he constantly has this 3D printer just churning something out. But the thing is that he's got a ton of kids too, okay? And sometimes his 3D prints don't come out the way that he wants them to, because he's trying to not just raise kids and also work, but also fund and fuel this 3D printing hobby of his. And so his files sometimes just don't turn out the way that they would want to. And you can't actually find, contrary to popular belief, you cannot actually find every single specific 3D file that you want out there. So wouldn't it be cool if there was somebody that was out there that sold as a digital product custom 3D print files just based on your description of things? And fun fact, there actually is. So I actually found this Etsy shop that says, hey, I'll do a custom 3D render and printing of anything you can think of. Now, I think that's cool, and that's got to be something that's actually pretty challenging. But this shop actually has 2,000 reviews and 75 reviews just for this one product in particular. But it's pretty cool that you have like a made to order 3D printing file. And so it'd be kind of like if you're an architect, but you can just figure out how to do 3D printing, it'd be like you're a consultant almost for 3D printing files. And so there's also plenty of platforms to be able to sell these types of files on. There's obviously like Etsy, of course, and then there's Gumroad, and there's a bunch of other ones that you can do too. But the whole idea is that 3D printing is blowing up. If you can ride this trend and ride this wave and get ahead of the curve in terms of being somebody that produces like custom 3D printing work for people, there's an entire industry that I think is there that just really hasn't popped off yet. I mean, I even have like this 3D printed stand. This is such a niche thing that holds my keyboards here. And so people can get things like this. There's 3D printing for car parts on the front of my Nissan 240SX. I have 3 printed headlight tabs that are actually holding my headlights onto my car right now. They're made out of plastic. And so again, this example, this specific example is really for just 3D printing, but the idea of niche digital products in like these types of hobby areas and these hobbies industries that might be blowing up, if you can ride the waves of one of these hobbies, I think it'd be a really great opportunity. So I give this idea a score of like 6 out of 10. You know, you have to unfortunately find some type of a industry to be able to attach yourself to, but if you can, I think it's a great opportunity. All right, for all of you writers out there, I have one for you too. This would be a newsletter manager for content creators. Now, I've been absolutely obsessed with newsletters as of late, and I don't mean the ones where you sign up at like Zara's website for 5% off or something like that. I mean actual newsletters that give you information. I'm talking about things like Morning Brew, The Hustle, Milk Road, Anime News Network. Okay, maybe not the last one, but all quality newsletters that actually give you a ton of value. But most importantly, what's crazy about these newsletters is that they drive significant revenue. They're like actually huge businesses and they're being sold for millions of dollars. So you know who else could benefit from an income stream like this? Creators. Creators have the perfect opportunity. They already have people that watch them and they already have people that are signing up for their email list, but they need somebody to actually take their email list and turn it into a revenue stream. This would mean doing things like crafting content for them, tracking their analytics on whatever, dashboard or whatever type of ESP that is that they're using. And on top of that, you could also pitch sponsorship spots for their email newsletters. The thing is that it's actually so complicated and there's actually so many things that actually have to be done in order for an email newsletter to deliver proper value but also be successful, that the creator can't do that but also create their original content on their own. And so that's where you would step in. As a person that's all they have to do is just focus on email, it's really not that hard. So all you have to do really is to pick a niche and preferably one that like you're already passionate about so you kind of know how the industry works. And then go find a bunch of creators that are out there that might have followings, but it doesn't look like they're really capitalizing on their email newsletter. You can go through, sign up for them and see what kind of emails you get after that. And then pitch them the idea that they're missing out on a ton of passive income and that they should probably hire you to do it. Now, some agencies would charge something like $2,500 to $10,000 a month to be able to do this. And you could tell a creator this, like, hey, they're going to overcharge you a ton to be able to run your stuff as an agency. I, a measly freelancer slash email newsletter expert, will do this for the charge of like $50 to $100 or $150 an hour. And so I give this a score an 8 out of 10. All right, 2 more to go, you guys. The next one that I have here for you is live virtual classes. Now, are you by trade like a chef or maybe like a wine expert? Maybe you do fitness, or maybe you just like to hang out and play games like Dungeons and Dragons or things like that. Whatever it may be, the idea here is that there are other people who are extreme introverts or people who just don't want to go out or people who work and they can't afford to be able to go out, but they still want to meet up with other people that do these hobbies. Well, people are doing them virtually still. So what's pretty much proven when that thing happened around the world and everybody shut down for a while and they had to do everything over Zoom, that people are willing to do things over Zoom. And so there are still people today that want to be able to do that. So there are things like cooking classes, wine tasting classes, there's yoga classes and other really popular options. I mean, not to mention somebody like Peloton that came on and basically capitalized on the entire scene of doing virtual classes. But what's great about this is that there is opportunity for people with more niche hobbies or more niche passions to basically host virtual events to connect the people who are more few and far between to link up and get to meet people and actually partake in their hobby. So if you have a hobby or a passion, or maybe it is a very unique profession, and then you have a computer that has a webcam, you basically have everything that you need to run a virtual class. So all you need then is a place to be able to market it. And what's really cool is a lot of cities actually have like these free markets where you can post your classes up on. I mean, I've seen classes for things like just getting together virtually to talk to people because you're lonely. And I've also seen stuff like virtual sign language classes. And what's crazy is that all of these classes are like 2 or 4 classes a piece and they range in like $100 to $200 a session. So if you take that and you multiply that out by like 5 or 10 students, you could be making some serious money basically just teaching people how to play Dungeons and Dragons online. But obviously you should also go the route of trying to just expand this into your own business and not have to rely on other marketplaces to be able to host your live class. At some point, point, you should have the idea of starting your own brand too. So I give this idea a score of 6.5 out of 10. Now, finally, I have an absolute wild card for you guys here, okay? I know this is going to sound really weird and really obscure. So if you'd like to say nice things about the video so far, you can leave those down in the comments below and like the video so far. I hope you've liked it, but now here comes the really weird one. I think a great idea for an online business is to be a matchmaker. Now, no, I don't mean like a dating matchmaker, okay? I think that's kind of weird, and I don't know how you become a matchmaker in that sense. What I mean is I mean to be a matchmaker for like businesses and customers, almost just kind of like a middleman. Look at the apps that we have out there right now, okay? We have like Turo and Uber and DoorDash, Care.com, The Knot. We have all of these apps that are basically just acting like marketplaces or middlemen for people that need to either like connect with the business or connect with another person. And these apps don't actually do the work. They don't have to actually deliver on the service. Like if the service sucks, it falls on the person that provides the service, not the matchmaker. And so you don't actually think that like all the industries or all the niches or all the hobbies or all the types of businesses that are out there, you don't think that they've all have been served, right? Like there isn't an app that exists for every single one of these. So that's where you can come in. If you can identify a type of business that would really benefit from being able to reach a customer through an online matchmaking type of platform, then you might have an idea here. So for instance, like let's say finding a mentor, okay? And I don't mean like just a business mentor, although that would be a pretty cool idea. I mean a mentor for something weird, right? Like I want to learn how to blacksmith. How can I connect with another blacksmith out there? I can't just look up blacksmith. But if there was a site that connected people with like niche hobby interests with mentors, could be just any number of things. If there's some type of a mentor that you wanted to learn from, you could match up with them for the cost of like $40 to $50 an hour or whatever it is that they would charge. And then the app itself would take a cut. And then obviously you would charge the masters to be on there and take a cut from them as well. The ideas are honestly infinite and endless. There's a podcast that I watched called My First Million, and one of the hosts that's on there, he said his dad was basically like a matchmaker or middleman for onion farmers. And so what he would do is he would go to like grocery stores and see who needed onions, and then he'd go to the farms that had onions and he would basically connect the two and he'd take a little bit off the top. And that's kind of a great idea to apply to basically anything. So there's money to be made where customers and businesses need to be connected and people can't connect them. So I give this business a score of 8.5 out of 10. It sounds awesome to be able to do, but a little bit difficult to be able to execute on. And that's it. So those are my 8 niche, untapped online business ideas. What did you guys think about the list? If you have any other ideas, I'd love to hear what they are down below, or you could totally just make fun of mine down in the comments below as well. But if you liked the video, if you got any kind of value out of it, I'd appreciate a like, a subscribe. And again, if you'd like that second idea of niche online courses, I have a free training for that in my description down below. You can go down there and click on that, and I will see you guys in the next video.